Well, I'm not exactly feeling very happy. I've kind of got mixed feelings at the moment. As soon as I started uploading these videos and showing them around to people who might be interested in speedrunning this game, one guy decided to try using a thunder symbol, and he's already knocked 12 minutes off the time I put up for Area 1. And he's finding lots of speed kills from there, so this entire video series might be obsolete already. So that might make you wonder why I'm doing this video, since we've got 58 minutes of the final area of the game to get through. Well, I might as well, right? This is a Let's Play, and leaving a Let's Play unfinished would be very sad. So, after clearing 4 areas, the King Coliseum rises out of the ground. I wonder who set that up. You know, I bet Kaiba set all this up. He's the only one with the money to do it. The King Coliseum houses 5 rematches. Pegasus, Ishizu, Melvin, Shadi, and Kaiba. Not sure why they didn't put in a Joey rematch, considering he deserves better than what most Yu-Gi-Oh! Properties give him, but I suppose there's nothing that can be done about it. Now, you might have had your own opinion on some of the game design we've seen up to this point, but I would argue that the Pegasus rematch is the first instance of a really, really bad decision. See, Pegasus, in his rematch, is the first and only opponent to have 2 different teams of monsters depending on which corner of the board he's starting in. There's this team, which he will use if you go first or if you go second and choose the blue corner. But if you go second and choose the red corner, then the monster roster changes. This is important because he has rare one-of-a-kind monsters on both of his teams, which means you'll be doing a replay of the entire game if you want to collect the rest of the monsters. And you have to play it all the way up to the Pegasus rematch to get them. Then again, I think you would be replaying this game several times if you wanted to get all the monsters anyways, and, you know, weren't just cheating like normal people should be doing. Because you've got to level up for all of the evolutions, you've got to level up for the fusions, you've got to collect lots of monsters for the fusions, and you've got to replay the game multiple times anyways, because the prize monsters that you get after clearing Area 5 are randomized. So, yeah. As for the stage itself, there's not a whole lot to say about it. You'll be seeing me use Kuribo here to shield monsters again. This time I've placed 2 monsters adjacent to each Kuribo. This way, the Kuribos can shield one of the monsters the turn after they're summoned, and then I can summon the second monster and shield it on the next turn as well. Just an optimal way to get the shields out there in the least amount of time possible. The stage itself has one interesting gimmick that you'll see me demonstrate in either this turn or the next, and it involves the symbol, oddly enough. You'll notice that there are 4 attribute icons next to my symbol. Moving the symbol onto an attribute icon changes all squares of the color of the corner of the board you're in my case the white squares, to the attribute that the symbol moved onto. Both you and the computer can do this, and the animation does waste a little bit of time. So I wanted to get as much out of it as I could. So what I do is I move my symbol onto the dark space. That's the space with the Eye of Horus or whatever. I think it's the Eye of Horus or the Eye of Anubis or something. There we go, that's how it's done. Now all of those squares just turn to dark. That means that Pegasus is light, and I think the Earth monsters also are going to be weakened on those squares. So if you can lure the light monsters into walking onto them, then hey, you're going to take chip damage at best, because light monsters can't do anything in a dark environment. Of course, Pegasus can change all of the dark squares to light if he moves his symbol, although for some reason he doesn't do that in this run until the very end of the stage. So, too little, too late. No, that's a terrible space for a Blast Juggler. Move it there. Yeah, that's good. Now you might wonder if it's important for me to play against one of Pegasus' teams or the other. Well, I played against the team that you get when you attack first because A, I want to attack first as always, and B, this team has one monster that the other one doesn't, the Parrot Dragon. It's arguably the best wind monster we've come across up until this point. Also, it's a toon monster, technically speaking, so that makes it awesome by default. It's one of the only two toon monsters in the game, the other being Manga Ryoran, who is unfortunately far too slow for a speedrun. Of course, if you're playing with a thunder symbol, then you can't use either of those two, because they don't get any bonuses. But Parrot Dragon has just such an amazing range that for this run I really wanted to use him. So I destroyed all the monsters on this map and took him. And that's my thrilling tale. Can't really think of any monster that would be useful on the other team, but, you know. And now the slaughter begins. It's kind of unfortunate. Teia's favorite monster just got totaled. One thing that I didn't consider up to this point was using Gaia the Dragon Champion, who is also a wind monster, and probably the best one in the game. He's got such an amazing range and movement, and of course his attack power will be through the roof if you've got a fire symbol. In order to get him, you would need a Curse of Dragon and a Gaia the Fierce Knight, obviously, right? Both purchasable from the shop, and you would have to level them up a little bit, but as you can see, that's not really a problem this late in the game. But the thought never crossed my mind to use them, so that never wound up being a thing. Carrot Idol's a pretty interesting monster. It has no card in the TCG at all. It only ever appeared in Duels to the Roses as one of the immortal monsters, which are just an amazing set of monsters. So that's kind of strange to see it in Capsule monsters of all places. Not that it's a particularly interesting monster within Capsule monsters, but it's interesting just for the history it has. Anyhow, we've lost 3 out of 4 shields, but that doesn't matter because all of the enemy monsters just moved into range. Time to take out the most dangerous ones first. That being Larvis, Torike, Jigen Bakudan, and Parrot Dragon. The light monsters are just too weak to do any serious damage. And everything in this stage dies in one hit. It's kind of unfortunate that the light monsters don't have enough defense coming from the symbol. You'd think that they would. Kaiba certainly has enough. But he only uses, like, 2 light monsters in the rematch. Well, I'm getting ahead of myself again. Not exactly the most interesting set of monsters. You'd think there would be a few more Pegasus monsters in this thing. Okay, so he just changed all of the spaces to Earth. That shouldn't be too much of a problem. Oh yeah, I'm losing a Drollbird here. It doesn't really matter. Since I'm pretty sure the next match is a Shizu, she's the only one I have a quick kill for, but it's not even a quick kill. It's more like a kind of fairly fast-paced kill. And we'll be taking some heavy hits, but we can avoid all the damage at the end of the day. It's a good thing that monster moved backwards instead of forwards. Sky Dragon still has the shield up, which is interesting. Say goodnight, Parrot Dragon. Probably want to get killed. These level up on animations really are too long. So yeah, Pegasus still not the exactly evidence that Industrial Illusions has good players for its games. Wait, Oh, wow, that's unlucky. That is super unlucky. I don't think I have any choice but to attack the Rogue Doll anyways. It's going to be left with 3 hit points. So it looks like changing all of those squares to Earth was actually worth it. If he changed them all to Fire, then Rogue Doll wouldn't be alive. Now would it? Oh, and of course now he sets all the squares back to normal. That animation does waste time, so hopefully you only have to see it once. Of course, you know, this being Capsule monsters, there's always a chance for something bizarre to happen. Such as Rogue Doll not taking the chance to destroy Drollbird. That's very odd. I'm not sure why that happened. Would Rogue Doll have not been able to destroy Drollbird at all? I guess it's possible. But anyhow, he'll be down to 1 monster after the end of this turn. With 49 hit points, I'm not really sure how Rogue Doll could have ever failed to destroy Drollbird if he'd actually attacked. Anyhow, it's pretty much over now. If the final monster moves out of the way, he'll get attacked by Sky Dragon. If he doesn't, Drollbird destroys him. It looks like he'd prefer to get destroyed by Sky Dragon. So that's the end of the Pegasus rematch. Maybe next time he'll consider challenging us to Dungeon Dice Monsters or something. You know, something he could actually beat us at. And by beat us, I mean get all the better luck rolls. Because that's all Dungeon Dice Monsters is. Zing! Wow, 12 minutes to take down 1 duelist. Area 5 is going to be long, isn't it? It's 58 minutes long. There's the final symbol level up, but it doesn't really amount to much. Well, we do get to max out our AP at 400. That's the absolute highest amount of AP any symbol in any run of Capsule Monsters will ever have. It's kind of unfortunate. Anyhow, we take Parrot Dragon and the Jigen Bakudan for some reason. I like that a good 80% of the monsters that come from opponents in this game can also be bought at the shop, so there's no need to really worry about taking their monsters unless something really rare appears. Of course, that only applies to collectors. Of course, a lot of people will want to 100% in this game if they're just playing casually. Also, there are 3 light symbols in Area 5. There's 1 dark symbol and 1 fire symbol to go with them. Symbol variety is not that good. So those of you playing with thunder symbols, hint hint, you guys are going to have an easy ride. So as mentioned, this is the only stage with a real, decently paced kill in it, let's say. We're going to make use of our newest monster. That being Parrot Dragon, who just goes and, the stage is tailored real well to Parrot Dragon, I feel. Monsters that move straight in general, anyways. Yet again, I lost the coin toss, but Shizu's letting me attack first anyhow, so it's cool. Now, like with the first Shoddy match, this is a stage where the symbol is forced kind of out into the open a little bit, but not like in the dead center of the stage like with Shoddy. Fortunately, it still means we can rush right at the symbol and kill it in a fairly quick manner. Only 1 Drollbird is needed, but we're going to take them all anyways, because these guys are going to hit level 9 soon, which means absolutely nothing, because what has leveling ever done for us? Leveling up a Thunder monster has certainly been more fruitful. Now, one of the guys who has been routing this game with the thunder symbol mentioned to me that in this game, it seems like that if you lose the coin toss at the start of the game... Oh, and I'm just checking the map there. According to him, if you lose the coin toss, then each computer opponent in the game will always pick either to go first or to go second, like, consistently. And I can't really refute that claim, because I haven't really seen anybody choose to go first and choose to go second, like, on different takes. So I can't really say if it's just a coincidence or not, whether they seem to consistently go first or second. Yet again, we shield our monsters and send them in. Gads, I'm only 16 minutes in and I'm already losing myself. Something bizarre also happens in this stage, which I'll draw attention to when it happens, because I almost didn't notice when it did happen. Anyhow, shields go up. And we rush straight towards the symbol. I'll always be thankful that Blast Juggler is able to make giant leaps like that. Well, any monster can do that. So, 3 monsters should be enough to take down all of Ishizu's monsters, right? This time around, they've actually got pretty high defense thanks to that light symbol, though, so... I wouldn't count on any one-turn kills. Or one-hit kills. Same thing. There aren't any interesting monsters on her side either this time around. There might be something interesting there. I never checked. She's got Mystical Elf, if you're interested in that kind of thing. Mystical Elf always seemed like a Kaiba monster to me. Probably because it's technically Blue Eyes White Dragon support in the anime. Where was I going with this again? Oh yeah, we're just gonna run right over her monsters. This stage, the strategy for it is really to just trap the symbol. It does try to get away, but it's not that good. That is to say, it can't really get away. Well, it did just move towards my monsters for whatever reason. It takes 2 hits to destroy the symbol, simply because of how much defense it has. Now, I would like to say it walked right into Parrot Dragon's blind spot, but, you know, Drillbird can still hit it, so I don't know what she's thinking. I'm not even sure what I'm destroying Mystical Elf for. The symbol's sitting right there. I wish I could destroy the Petite Angel. Oh, actually, I think I'm going to destroy it on this next turn. A Thunder monster could probably destroy the symbol in 1 hit. Like, I'm just imagining. It would take 400 and... It would take like 500 attack points to do, but, you know, with the elemental advantage, that's probably something you could accomplish. And the symbol tries to move out of the way, but it's not going to be worth much. And here's the bizarre thing. The computer actually uses a special ability. I used to think that they just didn't have the capacity for that. They weren't programmed to ever use special abilities, because in no other map do they actually use their special abilities, but here, they actually did. Of course, it's the most useless special ability ever. Also, I don't know why I'm destroying this Petite Angel. No real reason to. I guess I wanted this level up really badly. Oh yeah, for some reason it tells you that you're unable to do a level up when you hit level 9. But no worries, it still works. Well, I guess you can't level up past level 9 is what they're saying. So if somebody would like to tell me why Ishizu decided to give that monster in particular a one-turn defense boost, be my guest. You'll never see the computer use a special ability ever again, not even Blue Eyes White Dragon's special attack. So, whatever. Also, gotta love how the, well, I guess I'll spoil it now. The final battle doesn't involve Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon whatsoever, which you'd think it would, but since it's a fusion monster, they never give it to the computer. They want you to construct that thing on your own. It would have made for a pretty epic boss, though. Of course, all these guys are bosses, apparently. Well, they do have boss monsters, because the strongest monster they've got is technically the boss, and I'm rambling again. Forget what I just said. Only 3 opponents to go, and still 40 minutes of this. Feel my pain as I do long marathon post-commentary. It's Melvin, and he has an actually good symbol this time. Not to mention a good team of monsters as well. A lot of them can kill you in 2 hits, and some in 1 hits even. Now, I used to well, I didn't used to have a speed kill for this guy, but on one chance run, I discovered a way to destroy his symbol fairly quickly. Except, I completely forgot what it was, so unless I remember, I can't tell you. Which is rather unfortunate, because it saved a bunch of time. This stage has a particularly annoying map animation, the longest in the game. But oh well, we'll take him down the old-fashioned way. If I had speed killed him, I would have missed out on one of his monsters. The monster he's got at the very, very top of the mountain there is called Crimson Sunbird. It is the biggest non-fusion monster in the game. Well, not the biggest, but when you have, when you can move 4 spaces orthogonally, and your attack range is 2 spaces diagonally, and you're a fire monster, that tends to be worth a lot. All the mobility that I've ever wanted, all the attack power that I've ever wanted, and I get it, and can only really use it in the last 2 stages of the game, so for a speedrun, it's not the most useful thing in the world, but I'll use it for the amount of time that I'm allowed to, I guess. Actually, I don't think I used it in this run, but it's something... You know, no, I didn't use it in this run, actually. Which is unfortunate. I should have considered using it, but I didn't, so... But whatever, you know? Info for the future. Here we go. We're gonna send out Parrot Dragon and Blast Juggler, just like always. This map really doesn't like fire monsters when it starts. There's a bunch of water everywhere. The map doesn't really like fire monsters, so it weakens them a bunch. It even weakens wind monsters a bunch. And you know, Melvin's using fire monsters too, but of course there's going to be a map mutation to fix that little problem in a couple of turns. He's got another twin-headed behemoth. And since the map is much bigger, that makes twin-headed behemoth a much bigger threat. So let's get all our monsters summoned and meet him head-on. I'm amazed that Kuribo's special ability doesn't have any sort of duration attached to it, but all of the attack and defense boosts do. It's kind of uneven. I guess they didn't value taking a hit, or a free hit, over something like boost your attack power by 50 for 1 turn. Ah, so that's a monster that you could have used at the beginning of the game if it were quick enough. That's Firegrass. He's pretty... well, he's interesting. Very strong early game hitter. This late in the game, unless he's level 9, then I don't really see much point in using him. But I'm not the computer. I'm just a guy who's trying to talk over 50 minutes of gameplay. Only moving one space forward there so I can move Kuribo into position to shield Sky Dragon as well. The two Earth monsters were also annoying to deal with. Their range is really short, but they defend the symbol fairly well. He's also good at evading my attack range, though that's mostly due to me using so many diagonal moving monsters, which is why Parrot Dragon was a good monster to pick up. He doesn't move diagonally at all, so he can cover what the other two can't hit. I mean, look at this. This is just genius, isn't it? Oh, so I can hit Firegrass from here. That's good. See ya! Even with being weakened by the map itself, you can still destroy most of these monsters in one hit. Can't reach anything here with Parrot Dragon, so I've just got to be a little careful. I don't think anything can hit me there, so it's fine. And I'm shielded at any rate, too. Okay, so I'm gonna get hit by Twin-Headed Behemoth. This would have inflicted a lot of damage if I'd actually taken the hit. So, thank goodness for the shield. I usually destroy Twin-Headed Behemoth outright on the first, well, like very early in the game, but not so much these days. Oh, goody. No, there's no monster Blast Juggler can hit. This is so amazing. Okay, so wind monsters are getting a big boost from the water. My mistake. I don't pay attention to these things. I mean, fire monsters might... oh, this is sad. 5 hit points. He's left with 5 hit points. Which means if Parrot Dragon were 1 level higher, then, you know, that monster probably wouldn't have lived. Then again, for the 4th stage in this area, I don't really need too many big monsters. I actually want to use lots of small monsters for the shoddy rematch. Okay, so that's all of our shields down. But the good news is all of his monsters are moving right into our range. I don't think he'll have any left by the next 2 turns. So this is going very well. Can't hit too many enemies here. So I've really got to think this out. And at this point I was considering... well, I don't need to move Blast Juggler all the way up there, because if I do that, then Sky Dragon can't hit Crimson Sunbird on this turn. Which is something I did decide to do. Parrot Dragon's best move is probably to move up and destroy Firegrass. Did I do that? I think I did. Because I'm not even sure if I should bother with the Earth monsters, because it's still really hard to destroy them in 1 hit. I definitely wanted the Crimson Sunburn to die there. Crimson Sunburn. I can't talk today. Should really be taking this commentary thing slowly lately. Because lately I've felt like my throat is not doing too well. It's probably just fatigue more more so than anything else. Oh goody, Mega Zowler can destroy Blast Juggler in one hit. I didn't expect that. Those Earth monsters are stronger than they look. And here's the annoying map animation. It's the only one in the game to come with dialogue, unless you count Joey at the very beginning of the game reacting to the map mutation. So yeah, the volcano erupts, it wastes a bunch of time, and it coats the bottom of the arena in a thick layer of lava, which inflicts damage to, you guessed it, anything other than a fire monster. And fire monsters get a massive boost from it. But this is the last turn Melvin is going to be alive anyways, so what does it matter? If I had done this one turn sooner, then I would have avoided that. So that's a shame. Anyhow, that's the end of that. Just 2 more to go. And I'm only halfway through the footage. Jeez. Alright, coming up next is the Shoddy rematch, which is extremely annoying because the maximum AP allowed for the map is so low. I start the match with 400, and the maximum is 450, so you can imagine that that doesn't leave very much room for moving around big monsters, and casting those Kuriboh shields whenever I want. I mean, if I want to go quickly, then I've got to do something to reduce the amount of AP I'm using. And our symbol just received the final level up, which is completely pointless because all it did was raise the symbol's PP. And I know some of you are going to make jokes about PP and water symbols, but yeah. Also, I'm not sure what is up with some of the mugshots that they use for the opponent select screen. I mean, why use that mugshot for this? Oh, I completely forgot to point out how funny it is to hear Melvin scream when you have the voice acting turned off. Because it's just this one long repeat of that text writing noise. And now, a cameo by the legendary dragon Timaeus. At least I think it's Timaeus. I don't think it's intended for it to be, but, you know, just seeing Timaeus in another game would actually be pretty interesting, so I guess it's cool. Whether it's actually Timaeus or not, the dragon inside that crystal serves as the gimmick for this map. After a couple of turns, the crystal shatters and the dragon comes free. A couple of turns after that, he'll breathe fire on a specific part of the map, damaging anything that was in range. Of course, we'll be out of range long before that happens. We've got to get the quick-moving monsters out there yet again. So we bring in Kuriboh, we bring in the Drollbirds, we bring in Parrot Dragon because this is a very orthogonal-based map. And we bring in a couple of other monsters who just sit there and collect EXP that doesn't really matter considering it's the second to last map anyhow. Actually, I wonder if the Legendary Dragon arc was before or after this game came out. I suppose I'll have to look that up later. So yeah, everyone's level 9 now. They can't really gain any EXP, which is a good thing because you'll save a couple frames, just like avoiding the EXP gained window which appears at the end of every battle. So that's a little bit of time saved, but, you know, rejecting all of those level ups would have probably still been faster. Because you save the frames on those level up animations, but that's very long-term routing. Only one of these Kuribohs is going to get to cast its shield, otherwise the rest of the monsters can't move on the next turn. Well, not all of them can move, but Yeah. Only two big threats are present in the Shoddy rematch. One is his fire monster, which I can't remember what it is. It's like... I suppose we'll see it if he summons it. The other threat is the monster he just summoned there. It's called Ushi Oni. It's Japanese for bull demon or something. It constitutes the biggest threat simply because, as a dark monster, which has a dark symbol backing it, it has a lot of attack power and it takes multiple hits to destroy. The rest of those monsters are the basic stuff. Neo Balls, Lalaleoons. I think he's got a Kuribo also, but I can't remember. Would be funny if he did. They're all, you know, destructible in one hit, because we've come a long way. We're that powerful. Another threat on this map is his other dark monster, Terra the Terrible. Oh, the fire monster he has is actually Taihon number 2, and he's got a Mega Thunderball too. And there's the Kuribo. I was right about that. Not sure why he has Taihon number 2. It's not exactly a thunder monster, so it won't get any boost from the symbol at all. The thunder monsters get a defensive boost from dark symbols instead of an attack boost. I suppose that makes them less dangerous. Now, I was initially thinking Ushioni would attempt to attack Parrot Dragon and, you know, just evaporate the shield. But I decided to pull back instead, which is actually a smarter move than it looks like. But he's going to continuously pull back his monsters again and again and again until he's pushed into the corner and there's nothing he can do. And we can actually get close enough to destroy the Thunder Capsule there, housing... what is it, a Lalaleon? That's probably what it is. Of course, I'm not really sure if I should, like, go all in all the time like I've been for some of the previous maps. Yeah, instead I decide to destroy the Kuribo, which in hindsight maybe was not the best move. But I was intending to just destroy all the monsters because I didn't really have a way to get to his symbol quick enough. It's like, it's really packed into the corner there behind all of the monsters. So to get to it would require some kind of a jump. And Ushioni just runs away. It's like he doesn't want me to collect it after beating him. Yeah, Drillbird there just barely survives the first hit. But unfortunately, you know, that means the second hit will destroy him handily. And I'm okay with losing a couple of monsters. After all, there are only 2 stages left. This one and the next one. And here comes Timaeus, I guess. That animation wastes time. It changes the music for some reason. And you can't even see the full model of the dragon unless you zoom out a little bit and position the cursor just right, because objects in this game disappear if they're obstructed by the camera, which is cool, but I kind of want to see the really cool dragon there. If it's not Timaeus, then I can't imagine what it must be from. It could be Luster Dragon for all I care. That's Luster Dragon number 2. Oh, a Thunder Dragon! That's what he had. I remember that now. Thunder Dragon's a cool monster, and it just got destroyed while it was in the capsule. So one more for the road, I guess. And since you only get Thunder Monster this late in the game, the odds of being able to fuse a two Thunder Dragons fuse into a twin-headed Thunder Dragon, you see. So you're pretty much never going to use one in a speedrun, because you can only get him here in the second to last stage of the game, and you need 2 of them anyhow. Don't know why I'm pointing all of this out. Where's that Mega Thunderball going? Is it thinking of getting around me? Yeah, let's see here. Now, it might not look like it, but those lights on the ground actually do count as obstacles, so you can't attack through them. You have to go around them, which... more time spent. But I am vaporizing most of the monsters, so this is going good. Everything's just barely out of range here. I think I could hit Ushioni from here now. Anyhow, that's the dragon's animation. I guess if he doesn't have a cut on his eye, then he isn't Timaeus after all. I kind of like those monsters, even though the legendary dragon arc is not the best filler arc of the anime. And not just because it was filler either. It was like... the final boss has infinity attack, let's say. Let's just say that. I can't destroy Ushioni in one hit, as you see there, so that's unfortunate. Oh yeah, the lights changed, which means that the map's attributes probably changed, too. I do know that on certain light maps, dark monsters just get crippled. So I think he blunders his symbol away now? No, he's not moving it. Oh, he is moving it. And he did just blunder it, so that's, well, that's good. Saves me a turn. Thanks, Shai. I guess this is Shadi's way of saying I surrender. Of course, you could just say I surrender, then I wouldn't get any experience. So that only leaves Seto Kaiba, and I've got 16 minutes to go. Oh, jeez. So yeah, with 16 minutes to go and only one fight left, you can pretty much guess what happens. So everybody's getting level ups. Another chain of level ups for the road here. I'm not going to use Taihon number 2. It's not a very good monster at all. Not even sure why they included it. Some of the monster inclusions are just strange. I mean, with over 3,000 monsters to choose from nowadays, I can only imagine what they would put in a Capsule Monsters sequel. If they ever had any intention of making one, that is. Maybe I ought to try speedrunning the other 2 Capsule Monsters games that exist. They only came out in Japan, but there's one on the Game Boy and one on the PlayStation 1. Of course, since they only came out in Japan, I wouldn't have any idea what sort of route to take. The Game Boy Color game is just weird. Monsters actually die permanently in that game if they're killed, so you've really got to be careful. And you can actually lose content permanently in the GBC version because there are side quests to rescue Yuki's friends and gain them as playable monsters, because it's based on Season 0, where at the end they had that tabletop RPG where all of Yuki's friends turn into figurines and they have to, like, fight Zork. Yeah, that's an interesting little bit of trivia there. So, the grand finale of Capsule Monster Coliseum. It's interesting. It kind of looks like that Kaiba would always want to start on that side of the board, because it looks like there's a giant throne on this flying arc. Anyhow, it would look actually kind of amusing if you forced Kaiba to start on the other end of the map, but in the interest of speed, we just want to get this over with as quickly as possible, so we still want to go first. Interestingly, the map has an MP limit of infinity, so you can use whatever monsters you want. All you have to consider is what to do as far as AP goes. So I'm laying down all of my monsters. All of the stars of the show are here. You've got the Kuramas, you've got the Drollbirds that managed to survive the previous stage. You've got Blast Juggler, you've got Parrot Dragon, you've even got Crimson Sunbird, even though I never summoned it. At least I don't think I did. One thing I never got to try the entire run was shielding a monster while it was still in the capsule. Would it keep the shield after it was summoned? I would hope so, anyway. So yeah, this stage basically just favors all of Kaiba monsters while trying to weaken the monsters that Yugi would traditionally be using, but since we're using wind and fire monsters and not dark monsters, that is not that much of an issue. And in fact, the map mutation on this board, which happens on like turn 8 or something, it causes those light crystals to turn dark, which means that dark monsters get a massive boost and light monsters get absolutely crippled. Kind of bad news for a guy using light monsters, but he only really has 3 of them. 2 Blue Eyes White Dragons and Skull Guardian, which is basically a giant wall. Other monsters on his side include Grappler, which I don't even know why he's using that. He's got Suijin for some reason. And he has Lajin, the mystical genie of the lamp. That guy is the only real threat, because, well, he's a fire monster. And he can destroy other glass cannon fire monsters in one hit, so we've got to lure him out somehow. I used to do this by just letting a monster with a shield take a hit from him. But I figured that wasn't very sporting, so I think I did something different. What other monsters does he have? He's got, if I recall correctly, that's Rock Ogre Grago in the Earth Capsule. So there's Lajin. No, that's Stone Ogre Grotto. Okay. Or is it Destroyer Golem? I forget. There's just so many monsters in this series. From the crappy junk normal monsters of 1996 to the circus animals, singing angels, and whatever else they've got in Arc 5. The stuffed animals that turn into Five Nights at Freddy's ripoffs. Yeah, but I can save that for when I decide to rant and rave about Arc 5. I mean, there's just nothing to talk about in this stage. I'm just running him over. Also, Skull Guardian doesn't take the opportunity to cause my monster to lose his shield. That would have resulted in a one-hit kill on that Drollbird. There's the Grappler. Not even sure why it's called that. And then we just start running him over. So, I guess after all this time, it kind of begs the question of, was this all worth it? Well, it was worth it to own the speedrun world record for this game for all of 5 minutes, because, you know, when you see a world record holder has been using really subpar strategies, let's say, because, you know, I guess, oh, by the way, that's Meteor Black Dragon, and he just got destroyed while he was in the capsule. Normally you'd need to fuse a Meteor Dragon and a Red Eyes Black Dragon to get him, so thanks Kaiba for using it so I can just take yours by destroying it while it's still in there. Anyhow, the entire reason I started to, like, route the runs for this game is that, I mean, when I saw the world record, I just thought, I can do so much better than this. Like, why isn't he using fire monsters? They're so much better. Well, even though fire and wind monsters aren't the best strategy for this, it turns out that the thunder monsters are still the best, you know. The guy who originally ran this game wasn't really doing any speed kills, so I was like, okay, I have some speed strategies for this game. I'll throw up a run. It doesn't need to be anything super official, or it doesn't need to be a giant improvement. But this did wind up being a giant improvement. The segmented run anyways, just because I found so many ways to get around certain situations that I wasn't really thinking about when playing the game casually. So yeah, the light monsters are still really defensive. I guess I could have waited for the map animation to cripple them, but that would have meant waiting some more. Kaiba's got the strongest symbol in the game with 800 hit points, so you know you can forget about destroying that thing. It's just gonna avoid me for most of this. Unfortunately, I've blundered yet again. Because now those two Blue Eyes White Dragons are going to destroy the Droll Birds. There's nothing I can really do about it either. I even think they level up at this point. Which is still kind of humorous to see your enemy level up because you made a mistake. So yeah, it wound up taking a couple of extra minutes to actually finish off Kaiba. And I'm amazed Skull Guardian managed to finish off Kurama there. So in order to finish off the White Dragons, we're gonna have to bring in more monsters. I guess, you know, I guess it's on me for, you know, it's on me for just rushing in with only a couple of monsters instead of bringing the whole army this time around like I should have. So, if you're not like me and you actually do play this stage semi-competently, you could probably knock a couple of minutes off this time. And here they come. $91 damage. Oh, it was probably more than 91 damage, and hey, it leveled up! Hooray, you've got 2 monsters left, and they're finally making a comeback against the 6 I still have in reserve. Probably should have pulled back Parrot Dragon completely. Yeah, and here's where I start summoning monsters. Of course, I've got plenty of AP to do so. So I can shield these 2 without any cost to my AP. Well, it'll put a dent in my AP, but that doesn't really matter. Parrot Dragon makes, I believe it just takes the last hit that it can get here. Yes. Still off by just a tiny bit. 21 points. There weren't very many opportunities to level him up though, so it doesn't really hurt me that much. Well, it's gonna hurt him a whole lot because he can't take 2 hits. Does the other one level up? I don't think leveling up restores your hit points, so it doesn't really matter that much that he levels up. Oh yes, he did again. Of course, every time the computer levels up, then they waste your time with the level up animation, so that's unfortunate. And here's the map animation that cripples the remaining monsters. It turns the light crystals into rock candy. I could just lick those things with how detailed they are. So it's only a matter of time now. What a ride this game has been. They're still trying to evade me, but they're going to attack me in order to take down the shields, so they can't really avoid getting killed now. I waste time summoning this capsule. It's not necessary. Endgame is always like... Yeah, see how much this cripples them? It's amazing. They used to be able to kill a wind monster in 2 hits. Now it's going to take them 10. I guess I could also call that bad level design. Or at the very least, not very good level design. I mean, there's just a dozen things you could have done better in this game. Like, in general. There were a lot of ways you could have made the stages more interesting. And he just stands there and gets another hit in. I will take that as Kaiba's surrender. And after we destroy this last monster, that will in fact conclude the Capsule Monster Coliseum speedrun walkthrough. Which is now probably obsolete, thanks to all of the strategies other people are finding. Oh well, at least you got other people to play this game. I do think it's a kind of an interesting game. But like with most other games I play, there's not really a base for it, so... You know, I'm just showing this off for historical purposes, I guess. And that's the end. We're going to collect our last bit of bonus experience points, we're going to collect our final monsters, we're going to collect a bunch of MP we don't need. The only thing I could think of that I could do for this game after this is New Game Plus, which would be... I think it would be a little interesting to see all of the early game characters get killed quicker, but I suppose it wouldn't be that much faster than what I've got for this. Also, I'd have to go through the entire game with a thunder symbol again, and yeah. So that's all 5 areas clear. The credits and the ending can be skipped with the press of the start button, but they don't have much to give us anyways. We're going to receive 3 prize monsters, which includes Sanga of the Thunder, which means I should have taken Suijin from Kaiba, I guess. Well, I didn't get Kazejin anyway, so who cares. And the final time is 3 hours, 41 minutes, and 4 seconds. That is, that's a pretty good improvement, I'd say. That's over 1 hour knocked off the previous record.